buying and holding property just yet. I want to just basically rehab properties right now while I have the opportunity. And then once the capital is built up, then I can start to go ahead and get into the whole buying and holding properties along the way.
Okay. All right. So since you are choosing to do rehabbing, the it will be good that you have a multi-member LLC rather than a single member. But we can get the entity registered first as a single member, and then you would need to restructure at a later date, simply because when you're registering an entity, there's two things to keep in mind, the asset protection piece, but also the tax savings piece. And if you are a single member LLC and a rehabber, you pay the most amount of taxes with that structure. So anybody can be your partner, like a 0.1% ownership, or you form another LLC to be your partner in the multi-member. But that can be tabled for later. You can start out with a single member LLC, and then as income starts to roll in from the rehab, and you'll need to upgrade at that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, in understanding a single member LLC, I guess the way I had it, just researching some of this information myself, was that I could set up a LLC with the S corporation tax identification, and so that way, what I get taxed on would be my self-employment tax from whatever wages are basically deposited into my account. As far as the LLC is concerned, that is taxed on just federal and state taxes.
Yes, and the multi-member LLC structure that we usually form for investors gives you the same benefit as an S corp, but the added advantage is that there is no salary requirement like with the S corp. By having an S corp and with a salary requirement, you now put yourself on the IRS audit radar, especially if you don't pay a comparable salary, based on industry standards. You can achieve the same thing with a multi-member LLC structure and just pay yourself a guaranteed payment. And guaranteed payment is based on what the operating agreement states rather than the industry standards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, I follow that. I did understand with the S corporation that you had to have a certain amount of wages before you could, I guess, qualify for that percentage or I guess, tax.
Yeah, you mean the split? Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So I can understand that. I'm trying to wrap my head around the whole multi-member thing. I mean, I understand what you're saying as far as, even if you're just a single member and you want, if you have somebody that owns 1% of the company, just to have their name on there. The idea that I have in mind is just more so, among my circle, if you will, my sphere of influence, there isn't, I haven't found anyone that's actually willing to take on that opportunity to be even a 1% owner of the LLC, because they're not business oriented for whatever reason, or just, wherever you want to may call it. But the point of the matter is, structuring a multi-member LLC to have the same tax advantages as the S corporation. I'm definitely interested in it, but like I said before, I'm just learning this entire process. What works best? Having a good operating agreement that basically covers all aspects of the company in terms of gaining ownership of property and also being able to resell that property later. So, this is where I kind of defer to you to understand the situation better.
Yeah, so what we can basically do is if you don't have anybody who's willing to be your partner, we offer that service where we can be your minority partner at $250 a year. The other option is to form another entity. So you end up having two LLCs, one that is your parent LLC, and then the second one that's the single member LLC, and that single member LLC and you would own the parent. So in that way, you don't necessarily need a third party. Or you can use our services where we can act as your minority partner on that LLC. And same thing, 0.1% limited partner interest, no management decisions, but it enables you to file the multi-member LLC and get the same benefits.
So when using that option, then you say, well, it's $250 a year to be able to have that benefit plus the 1% that would be garnered in terms of profits shared within the LLC. Correct?
Yeah, you don't even need to do 1%. It's going to be 0.1%. So you're going to be 99.99, and we're going to be 0.01. And that's just a capital ownership percentage. The profit and loss will be 100% you and 0 to us. And all of that is spelled out in the operating agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. In terms of the operating agreement itself, do you guys provide resources to be able to write a complete operating agreement?
Yeah, we actually have an operating agreement that's been drafted by a real estate tax attorney that we use for all of our clients. It's 121 pages. It's very comprehensive because not only does it include the legal provisions, it also includes the tax provisions as well.
Mm. Okay, okay. That's something that I'm definitely interested in looking into. So what is the fee for your services in terms of setting up the LLC, using the draft operating agreement, being able to register the company and all those things? Do you guys? I saw on your website that you guys provide assistance in terms of establishing the company or the LLC. So what are the fees associated with that type of service?
Yeah, so to set up an entity would be $499, will be our service fee. And then there's other fees, like the fees you have to pay to the state, your resident agent fee. You can use us or you can find somebody else to be your resident agent. Then the office address. And then the fee if you want us to be your partner. But our service fee to get the entity set up is $499, and then all the other fees, well, the state fees you have to pay, but all the other fees will be dependent on if you want to use us or use somebody else. We also have an overall wealth building program that covers all of our services for the year. So it's your choice if you want to use that, just pay just for the entity structuring, or take a look at our wealth building program that covers the preparation of individual and business tax returns, any number of entities that need to be set up during the year, business meetings, retirement planning, financial planning, year-end tax planning. And for you as a rehabber, you do want to do year-end tax planning because November, December is when we're taking a look at all the income you generated for the year and then come up with ways to save on that taxes before the year runs out.
Okay. And what does that cost?
That's $19.95. It's actually at $24.95, but if you come from one of our referral sources, in this case is Bigger Pockets, that service, you get a $500 discount.
Okay, okay. And in terms of you guys, how many companies are you affiliated with as far as real estate companies within the area now?
Oh, a lot. 95% of our clients are real estate investors.
So how many clients do you guys have?
Right now we're at about 650.
You guys have 650 real estate businesses registered with you guys within the state of Maryland?
Yes.
Or within the DMV area?
Yes, because I do speaking engagements at a lot of the real estate clubs, and I am a real estate investor myself. That's the unique thing that I bring to the table. We also have clients not in this area that are all over, because a lot of people come to me when we go on speaking engagements at the real estate clubs.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Well, that's nice to see. Oh, nice to hear. Okay. Is there anything else that I would need in terms of like what I have to get, like as far as the game plan? Do you guys suggest? There's things that I know that I'm going to be doing in place. Like for instance, I'm going to be consulting a real estate tax attorney for sure, just to get an additional feedback in terms of the operating agreement. I'm also going to do my research as far as the state requirements for business registration and things of that nature. What other things should I be working on in the same time?
Well, one of the things that we can tell you is that usually when you go to an attorney, you end up paying a lot more fees than necessary. What we tell our clients and investors is see us as a one-stop shop, where when you come to us, we're able to get everything done for you, get your questions answered. Because I'm a real estate investor, I've been a CPA for over 20 years and an investor going on 16 years. So 90% of the things that a new investor would need, we're able to implement for you. And then we have real estate attorneys that we work with, where if it's something that we need to outsource, then we will do that. So one of the things to keep in mind is just keeping your costs down when you first start out, simply because you want to have those funds devoted to actually finding a deal and doing a deal so that you can start growing your real estate business.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So aside from avoiding attorneys, to not have to worry
I'm not
about
necessarily saying avoid them. I'm saying keep your costs down by working with somebody who can get those questions answered without having to charge you like a retainer.
Okay. Well, yeah, I understand that. I didn't mean to say it that way. But I guess what I'm looking for is direction in terms of what my next steps should be. I want to be able to have a full understanding of what I'm doing, and I don't mind looking at the one-stop shop thing at all. But also, I want to research my information to know that I'm making the right decision and going in that route. So, and you know, in doing so, again, like I said, I'm just looking for the directional steps that I can take in order to make sure that I have everything in place, if you will, so that when I come to you guys, I can say, yeah, okay, I have, you know, I have full understanding of the situation. I'm aware of what I'm dealing with here, and this is where we're going. So, you know, that's what I'm asking for here now.
If you had to ask me, I don't know if you're a member of any of the local real estate clubs. Why don't you find a local real estate club and join one? Because they share a lot of information there. You meet a lot of other investors. You can talk to find out, you know, what they did to get started. I have a lot of information on my website that you can go through. I'm sure, you know, you found us through Bigger Pockets. I'm sure if you do a search on the other real estate sites, you'll be able to get a lot of information there. But I think nothing beats actually showing up at a club meeting. You know, depending on where you're located, there's several in this area that you could plug into, meet other investors, ask them who they're using, how they did theirs, and then you can decide from there what you want to do.
Yeah, I've looked into the one in Columbia. I have been to the local real estate group that's in Upper Marlboro, nearby the Bowie area. And I wasn't impressed with them. I found that the gentleman that runs that local club, Sherman Ragland, he seems like a pretty nice individual, but at the same time, a lot of what he was doing was more so like just trying to boost his business, if you will. Like it was a motivational piece to motivate you into how you can basically bird dog listings for him or properties for him to be able to renovate while you supposedly learn along the way. But I didn't find it to be as much as resourceful as it could be, you know, and from what I've researched online with various REA groups, if you will, there was one that's in Columbia that has generated a lot of positive reviews. So I am interested in meeting up with them and seeing what they have to offer and learning, you know, what they have to offer. And maybe we can go from there. But like I said, just trying to get this going sooner than later. That's the whole idea. And putting it all on the table, you're actually the second CPA company that I have spoken with.
Okay.
And I've gotten the same information, just about some things I've heard different, but I can understand, you know, when I'm looking at both sides, if you will, you know, where the direction should be from what you both have presented to me. So, you know, just trying to figure out what my next step now is going to be. You know, before when I spoke with that company, my next step was speaking with you guys and then comparing notes. Now my next step probably should be contacting the local REA group and also too, like I said before, looking into the real estate tax attorney to find one as you mentioned, and I agree totally. Find one that keeps my costs down, but also gives me a understanding in terms of the operating agreement for the LLC, because I know that that is literally the heart of the LLC structure. It has to be clear, it has to be complete, and you know it can't have any loopholes on that. You know, so just trying to figure those things out, if you will.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll send you information by email. Feel free to take a look at it, and then once you decide what you're gonna do, you can always reach back out to us. I mean, I hope you will choose to go with us, but if you decide to go somewhere else, I also understand. At the end of the day, I think I've shared enough information to kind of give you direction in terms of, you know, where to go or what to do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's some things that I've learned new here, and I appreciate the various resources that you guys have, especially where you have the program that covers individual and business tax return information, company setup, business setup. You know, that's definitely something that I'm looking to get involved with. In this program here, with that, one thing I forgot to ask, with that 1995 registration fee or program fee, is that a one-time payment or is that something that's on an annual basis?
It would be annual if you decide to renew, or if in the second year you choose that you've gotten most of the benefit and maybe you just want to do a pay as you go. Let's say, you know, just pay for tax preparation, you can do that. 85% of the people renew simply because their business is growing.
Mm-hmm. How much do you guys charge for tax preparation for the business?
It depends on the number of forms that need to be filed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, very good. Very good. Well, I definitely will continue to look into some more information here. And once I know exactly where we're going, then I'll definitely give you a call back. And I do appreciate if you send me some email information along the way. You keep it fresh in my mind and also allow me the opportunity to kind of just touch base with you guys. Do you guys allow people to, or not shouldn't say allow, but are you, what's the word I want to say? Do you welcome office visits?
Yeah, we do. It has to be scheduled. Usually the first consultation over the phone is free, but any other consultations would have to be paid for, whether it's in office or over the phone. You choose how you want to meet with us.
Okay, okay. Makes sense. No problem. So yeah, definitely. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. I guess at this moment there's nothing else more to discuss.
Okay, so I look forward to working with you, and we'll send you out that information by tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.